Hey, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
I watched the first half of Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale.
I watched the second half of Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale.
And this
is the other half.
It's Christmas time. So let's act like
It's Christmas time.
Christmas time, motherfuckers. We're out of Thanksgiving. Get that out of here. Get
Fuck
that
off Thanksgiving.
Get that colonial garbage out of here. I'm full
Yeah.
of turkey
Yeah.
and turpentine. Is that what you get? I don't remember the thing is that turkey gives you.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but it's not
tryptophan.
turpentine.
Is it tryptophan?
Yeah,
That's it.
turpentine, I think, is what you put in dead people or something, right?
Whatever. I was putting the turpentine in. Keep me alive for a long time. I'm
That's
already so
true.
full of microplastics. Put some turpentine in there.
Fucking cares? Yeah,
Who cares?
exactly.
Whatever. My body is not a temple anymore. It's a little slut. It's a little chemical slut.
Yeah, it's chemical.
And you know
slut.
what? Like a slut, I'm gonna give out all my presents away.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what I was going with that.
what-
I was thinking of trying to make it allude to Santa.
You
And
did
he's kind of
that.
a slut with presents. You know, he gives them away to everyone.
Sure, yeah, he's always giving them away to children.
To children, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all right.
This movie deals with kids that they shouldn't, things they shouldn't see. So
Yeah, it was interesting, this film. I had a very different idea of what this movie was going to be,
Yeah.
just based on the poster alone. I thought it was going to be about a little boy. Follow me here. I truly think somebody should make this movie. I thought it was going to be about a little boy
All right.
who is like a little boy who works in like a factory or like a mail room where there's
Okay.
a bunch of boxes, and in one of the boxes is Santa Claus.
Just
And
happens to get there. They
he's-
just happen to import Santa Claus.
He's just like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I gotta find all my reindeer. And then the little kid is just like, Santa, what are you doing in here? And he's just like, I've been mailed and I gotta get all my reindeer or else it's Christmas time. And so then
the elves
little
actually
kid,
packed me away.
I don't know why he's there, but he's just like, I'm here now. And then and the little boy is like, I've never gotten a Christmas present because he's poor. And so so Santa's like, oh well, I walk around this package place with my looking for my reindeer. Let me tell you a couple stories about Christmas and stuff. And I thought that's what this was going to be about. Dead wrong.
Oh my God.
Dead
Yeah, you could not
wrong.
be more far
I
from the
was
truth.
shocked to learn this was some kind of crazy fucking like Guillermo del Toro style horror film
Yep.
about Krampus.
Basically, yes.
Shocked to learn
Wild
all
stuff.
this.
Wild Finnish ass movie.
Yeah.
It's nice to see a Finnish movie though that's actually funny and not just like, I don't know. I feel like every Scandinavian movie I see is like, do you know humanity is doomed? Do you know you not trust your neighbor?
Yeah.
You shouldn't trust him, and all we do is sit here in the snow and be sad.
Yeah, that's true.
And this one's like, we're sitting in the snow and it's like Shaun the Dead style.
Yeah,
Kinda like
there's
fun.
definitely like depressing moments in it, but I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun little film. I think what helps is too like the main kid, Pietre.
Yeah, I'm going to apologize in advance to everyone's name that we're about to butcher all these Finnish names. I'm sorry.
I only know his name. I don't know.
It's Piotr, yeah.
Piotr,
Mhm.
and it's Piotr and Dad.
Piotr, Dad, Amo, and
Juso,
Piparian.
Pipadian.
Pipadian.
So the
Those are
two
three main characters.
but the kid and his dad, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're good. Apparently, they're actually related. They're actually like father and son.
Oh, well, that helps a lot.
Which helps a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're great. It's pretty well shot, I think, overall.
I actually
too.
did quite like the direction of this movie. I thought
Yeah.
it was like pretty cool. This was made in 2010, and it kind of feels like the 2010 kind of like, ooh, small budget movies can actually have like, moderately good effects.
Yeah.
And we moderately can get more access to, better cameras and things like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like giving those people kind of the ability to actually shoot a film in a relatively good looking, if they know their stuff, they can shoot it.
And if they like if they're very clever about like where they set it, I think is
Yes.
very helpful as well. Like, you don't really need to worry too much about sets and stuff. If it's just like, we're going to shoot so much of this out in the snow,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about it too much. Before we get into the movie, check it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you like violence and horror movies and
A little Christmas in it too.
a little bit of Christmas, check it out. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
and honestly, it's pretty short too. So
It was scary short.
yeah,
I
it's
was
like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So short.
It does not overstay its welcome whatsoever. And yeah, like by the halfway point of that movie, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Is this really the halfway point? Like, I was shocked. I was shocked to learn the movie was halfway over when it was.
Yeah.
So the movie opens 24 days before Christmas.
Okay.
And we are learning about a drilling excavation site on the top of some really big famous mountain that
Finland.
in Finland, it's like on the Finland-Russian border or something like that, I guess. Yeah.
Sketchy.
Yeah. And so they're digging into this mountain, and there's like a main guy who's a cane. I don't know who his name is, but there's
guy
like
with the cane.
they speak English. They all speak English. Do you see any English
They
speakers?
all speak English. There's
Yeah.
one guy who speaks English in my half.
What does he look like? Old and white?
They all are old and white, Mike. They're
This guy's
all from
really
Finland.
old and white.
Okay, Amo.
Sure, Amo.
Does he have a kid named like?
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
So then.
Anyway, so there's one guy there. He's got a cane, and he's, I think, running and like funding this like drill site, basically.
Oh,
Him.
And he has a hat.
Yes.
There we go.
There we
Yeah, I
go.
do know him. Yeah.
So so the guy working the drill site is like, hey man, we found sawdust inside of the mountain. And at first we thought it was like some ancient tree, but like that would make sense because it's like inside of the mountain. And the guy's like, holy shit, this is what I've been waiting for this whole time. You see, this mountain is like a giant ice box, and it's encasing something with inside. And he produces a list of rules and instructions, such as like no smoking and wash behind your ears, and all the people working at the drill sites. Like, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. Like, this is so silly. And I think he literally says like, what is this shit? And the guy fucking hits him upside the head. He's like, no swearing. You're not allowed to do that. You have to act nice around the drill
Can't
site.
act naughty around the drill site for reasons.
Exactly.
So they don't know what they're getting into.
They don't know what they're doing. And even if he told them, there's no way that they would fucking believe him.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then the guy who's like doing all this, he gets some kind of like mysterious icicle. I don't know what's within the icicle, but I'm assuming this comes into play later.
I don't remember an icicle.
Okay. And the cane guy gives this speech, and he says, my dream is coming true. He says that they are standing on a sacred grave, putting the pyramids to shame. And that the people of Lapland built this mountain, and they have 24 days to crack this mountain open. And they have a grave to rob. He says all this to the people working there.
Okay.
And then two small children, Pietre and a kid named
Huso, I believe.
Huso, are there watching this whole thing, and they run away as all this is sort of happening. They've broken into the site by cutting through the wire fence, and Huso, who's like an older kid, he's a bully, and he's like, I don't believe in Santa, but Pietre, he thinks that encased in, I don't know how he knows this, but he's like encased within the mountain is Santa Claus. Santa Claus is in the mountain, basically.
Okay.
And
Santa Claus been dormant for a while. Like, time to wake up Santa.
That's
time to wake him up.
I think that's the idea, yes.
Okay.
And Pietre, we then get a whole intro where there's like a montage of him reading up on Santa, but then also reading up on like, Krampus and the comparisons between the two, basically. And so he's terrified of Santa, and so when he goes home and reads up on Santa, he's taping up the advent calendar so that the 25th doesn't come.
I would love that. Like, he's just like, this is the way to stop time.
It's
if you
honestly,
don't eat the chocolates.
It's kind of cute.
It is a very
it's
cute
pretty
kid
cute.
thing.
And it's a very visual aspect of the movie too. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be really cool. Like, is this gonna like count down, to the first? But no, it actually just immediately cuts to one day till Christmas. So those 24 days just sort of fly by.
Yeah, okay.
One day till Christmas, we are introduced to Dad. Don't know his name. I'm just gonna call him Dad.
Yeah, I don't think he ever mentioned his name either.
And he's making a pit with spikes in it. And
Why?
so there are wolves around.
Oh, okay.
And so this is a wolf trap, which we apparently later learn is illegal to do because
because people can fucking fall in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It is a very well made trap too. Like, I'd be like, I'd fucking fall in that shit.
Yeah.
And what's leading people into the trap is a big
People? He's hunting people.
Sorry,
now.
what's leading
Wolves.
wolves, thank you, into the trap is a pig head.
Oh, that'll trick some people too.
We learn,
ooh,
yeah,
pig.
exactly.
I want to go pet the pig.
We also learn that he's, I guess, like a butcher. I think that's what he does for a living. Is he
Okay.
butchers like animals and stuff.
Okay.
That's how he makes like a living. We see Pietre. He is he wakes up. Oh yeah, his dad wakes him up by like throwing a snowball at his like bedroom window, and Pietre is like, whoa. And Pietre goes to talk to his dad. We learn that dad is a butcher, and dad's just fucking cutting up this pig inside his like giant like butcher room in like the shed. We are introduced to, what the fuck is his name? The dude with the long name, Mr.
Piperian.
Paparian. We were
Something like
introduced to Mr. Paparian.
Probably butchering it, but it starts with a P.
There's a butcher in the movie. Mr. Paparian is setting up an electric fence to keep the wolves at bay as well.
Okay, they're really protecting. Or do you think these wolves? These wolves are really aggressive, I guess.
Wolves are super aggressive. Yeah. Well, of course they are. They're hungry.
They watched The Grey
cold.
the night before, and they're like, "Oh shit!" They tore up Liam Neeson.
And I've never seen that movie.
I watched it. It was sad.
Oh, okay.
It was a sad movie.
Oh well. Is it a Christmas movie?
No, I guess it's snow. You can be like, it's like White Christmas if it was stained with blood of people that wolves ate.
There you go. So eventually they're expecting a bunch of like reindeer and deer to like emerge from the woods. I guess this is like what they're used to, where the deer emerging from the woods and then they can like kill them and eat them and sell them is the idea. But only 2 come out of the woods. And there should be more.
Those fucking wolves ate them all, I bet.
So yeah, so they go and they're like, "What the fuck? Let's go investigate, see if we can figure out what's going on. Where are all the deer?"
Stinking wolves.
They find like hundreds of dead deer carcasses all over the ground, all leading up to the drill site, right next to the fence, basically. And they're like, "Fucking Russian wolves." Because there's a big hole in the fence. Russian wolves got out of the fence and they're eating all of our fucking deer. And the dads are pissed because they're like, this is like our livelihood. This is gonna like feed us. You know, they're like, we gotta go up there and we gotta fucking tell these people like.
These are basically like Finnish rednecks, like coming in, like, we're living off the land, man. We're gonna go get them.
Exactly.
They all have guns.
Yeah, they do. And they don't know how to speak to their children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but Pierre Trey and Husso see all this and they're like, oh shit, it's our fault. Because like we're the ones that cut open that gate.
It's true, yeah.
And so Pietro's like, I want to tell my dad, and Husso's like, never tell your dad. They'd beat us. We'd get in so much trouble. Never tell them that we're the ones that were behind all this. But basically, it's like, eventually Pietro learns that because he's looking at all the carcasses too, all the dead deer carcasses, and he sees a human footprint next to one of them. So it probably isn't like wolves. It probably the Krampus or Santa Claus or whatever, right? But Pietro still thinks it's his fault because they cut open the fence. So I think he thinks that like whatever happened up there got out via that little hole in the fence. I'm like, I think if that thing wanted to get out, it'd get out no matter what the fuck it wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's happening, and so they're like, we gotta go. But they also mentioned that the drilling has been quiet for several days now. They're like, there's been no drilling up there. Maybe like let's go up there, but like maybe they're not there right now. And so they go up to investigate the drill site, but it is completely abandoned. It looks like there's nobody there. Doors are left open. There's frost indoors. A bunch of the the papers and all that stuff has been left out. And so then Pietro comes back home and staples the advent calendar shut because he's just like, something bad is coming and I can't let this continue.
It's already the last day, but I guess whatever. He's trying to keep it.
He's terrified. He doesn't know what else to do. Pietro turns on the Christmas lights. I don't know why he does this, because I'm like, you think you wouldn't want Santa to come. Why are you turning on the Christmas lights? But I think maybe their mom died, like his mom died or something, like around Christmas time or some bullshit. I don't know. His dad makes gingerbread and dinner for him, little gingerbread cookies, and he lights some candles. And the scene was really cute because it's like Pietro, the little kid, is like terrified of like Santa Claus and Krampus, and the dad is just like going through it because he's like, I don't know how to talk to my fucking son, and my wife is dead, and whenever I like talk to my son I sound really mean. Like, it's just a really good scene, and the actor playing the dad is like he's like crying, but he's trying not to cry in front of his son. It's a good little moment. It's a good moment.
This is so different from my half.
Oh really?
It's so different.
It's great. I'm loving this shit a lot.
Okay.
So then the kid goes upstairs. And the kid, he's like, I gotta look out for my family. I gotta make sure nothing bad happens.
So he's the man of the house.
So he does this thing. He gets a shotgun. Actually, his dad gives him a shotgun. And he sits in front of his bedroom door, or his bedroom window. Sorry, out overlooking the frozen tundra in front of him. And he does this thing where he keeps his hands behind his back, and in his hands are these big metal keys, and under him is this big metal bowl. And if he falls asleep, he'll drop the keys in the bowl and wake himself up. And so in order to make sure he stays awake all night, basically. Okay. But then he starts to slowly fall asleep, and the keys are like attached to his sweater. And so they just slowly fall into the bowl, and they don't wake him up. And so he ends up falling asleep that night. It was like a little moment. And also, it's just like, I don't know.
It's just like kid stuff.
It's kid stuff, but it is very much a thing of like, remember when you were a kid and you were so afraid to fall asleep, and so you would like do these things to stay awake that just were like cute, but didn't really make sense. I don't know.
I've never done any of those
really?
things in life. I was always like, sleeping's fine, whatever. If I go to sleep, I just stayed up until I was too tired.
I wanted to stay up as long as possible. I hated sleeping.
Dang.
So anyway, back at the base. I don't know. It must not be the drill site because there's people around. But apparently there's like there's another base on the mountain where all these guys are, and it's revealed that the cargo that was within the mountain is still alive. It still has a pulse.
Oh.
And so the guy's on the phone with the dude that earlier, the old man with the hat. He's like, the thing's still alive. It's awake and it's got a pulse. And then all of a sudden, it's like the Velociraptor scene at the beginning of Jurassic Park. Everyone just fucking dies, and we don't see what kills them. But we see these two like human legs that are just standing out in the frozen tundra, and it's like the guy looks naked.
So is this guy like? So he broke out of the cargo, or is he just literally just like?
I think he was. They were gonna mail this fucker like all the way over to where this dude is from, and yeah, I think he broke out of the box and overpowered the everybody because he's fucking Krampus or Santa or whatever. He's got magic powers.
Just a naked man.
Exactly. So now it's Christmas Day, and Pietro goes to piss, and it's funny because he's like, I gotta go piss. And I'm like, all right, fucking go to the bathroom. But there's no bathroom. So he goes outside to piss, which I'm like, oh, what a different life this kid leads. And as he's out there, he sees the trap from the beginning of the movie that the dad set has been sprung.
Oh.
Yeah, something's in it.
What's in that?
And so he's like, Dad, something's in the trap. And so the dad goes to take a look at it, and he sees a dead human inside of it.
Oh.
And he's like, I'm in big fucking trouble because I'm not supposed to be making these wolf traps anyway.
Yeah, now kill the human.
And now a fucking human fell into it. And so the dad's like, Pietro, you're not allowed to look in there. You're not allowed. Go inside. We're going to have some breakfast. But he didn't make breakfast. So they're just eating like gingerbread. And Pietro's like, after I finish my breakfast, can I like go take a look at the pit? And he's like, if you finish your breakfast, you have more breakfast. And he gives him like a bunch more gingerbread.
Gingerbreads.
And then he's like, you're forbidden. You're grounded. You're not allowed to go out there. And then Mr.
Piparian.
Mr. Piparian shows up dressed like Santa Claus because apparently it's his job to go around the village and deliver all of the Christmas presents to all the children and all the neighbors. Basically.
Is he a pilot at all?
Not. It's never mentioned. Okay. But he does wear big pilot sunglasses. So
okay.
Wouldn't be surprised.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. All visual storytelling.
Yeah, visual storytelling.
And so he shows up. He's dressed like Santa to deliver presents, arrives to help figure out what to do with the body that's found in the trap.
I'm going to start wearing aviator glasses and just hope people pretend I'm a pilot.
You're a pilot?
They're asking. Like,
Everyone wears fucking aviator
I played
glasses
Microsoft
now.
Flight Simulator a lot. I'm pretty good at
Walk
it.
around with like one of those like hats that like, Lucky Lindy used to wear and stuff.
Exactly.
That'd be pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, wear like the flight jackets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm basically just gonna, and I'm also gonna sit on a doghouse and.
You're
pretend
gonna,
I'm
you're
flying.
gonna take on the Red Baron. Yeah,
Yep.
I like that. And you only eat Red Baron pizza.
Exactly. Oh, there you go.
Is that still in? I have not seen Red Baron.
I haven't bought a frozen pizza in years,
In
so I don't know.
dog's
In a
age.
dog's age,
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, yeah. Pietro's dad's like, you are in this with me now, bro. We have to fucking figure this shit out. We have to do something with this body. And they like look through the guy's like effects and they find like ID, but it's ID of one of the scientists from the base, and clearly not this old man that's laying in front of them with like a big long white beard.
He's like, describe this man. He's an old man.
Old
naked.
man, naked, big long beard.
Okay.
One of the cooler, like, there's all these cute little details, which is like, that's all you can do when you have a small budget is put little details in there. His feet are black because they're frostbitten.
Ugh.
And I love that detail of like this guy's in pain constantly because
he's running around naked
he's
in the
running
ice
around
snow.
naked. Yeah, exactly. The bottom of his feet are completely black, shit rocks. So yeah, they're like, we got to figure out what to do with this guy, and because the wolf traps are illegal, and so they're like, we're gonna go full Sweeney Todd on him. We're gonna just cut him up into pieces, try to hide the body. That's like what they're gonna do.
Okay.
So the dad like grabs this guy's arm, and the other dude grabs like his leg, and then all of a sudden the old man on the table starts to like kick and buck, and like he's like, he doesn't say anything, but it's in such a way of like, let go of me, like don't touch me, basically. And they're like, what the fuck? He's still alive? Like, how can he still be alive? He got impaled by all those fucking spikes and shit.
Yeah.
But he is alive, and he's like breathing, and it looks like he's like smelling for something. Like he's like, yeah. And as he's smelling, we see in the window, Pietro is like peering through the window, looking in on this whole visage, this whole scene. And the dad is like, fucking Pietro's out there. He saw this dead man. He knows what we're going to do. So he bursts out to try to like stop Pietro. But his son goes and he runs away, and the dad gets in the car to try to chase him down. But then a cop comes by, and the cop picks up Pietre, and it takes Pietre to one of his like he got some like crime got called in by Husso's dad.
Okay.
And Pietre's in the car with the cop, and Pietre's dad is following them in a truck. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so they all wind up at Husso's dad's place, and Husso's dad, who's apparently like I think he like just packs away potatoes or something like that.
Okay.
He's like,
they all have very simple jobs here.
they have
Pilot,
to.
butcher, packs, and potatoes.
Potato man,
Yeah.
and children who don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't have a job. They don't need to. Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, so somebody stole all my stuff. And they're like, what, they stole all your potatoes? He's like, no, that's the weird thing. Left the potatoes, stole the sacks. Yeah.
Goblins. They want those potato
They're
sacks.
fucking goblins. And one thing I've forgotten to mention, but it comes into play soon because I watched slightly more than my half of the movie, is so wherever Krampus has been, or wherever this old man that we don't know who he is has been, there seems to be little wooden figurines of children there. So in the hole that the dad made earlier, the trap, little wooden figurine.
Oh.
And then Pietre is like, I'm gonna go check on Husso.
Yeah.
And he goes to check out his
Yeah.
bedroom, and as you see,
It's not really a wooden figurine.
What is it?
I don't know. It's like a weird stuffed.
it's wood. Isn't that wood?
Is it wood? I thought it was like I don't know, like kind of like made out of like a sack material.
Oh, like potato sacks.
Kinda. a
Oh,
little
I thought
bit.
it was pieces of wood.
Okay.
Well, anyway, that's my half.
Oh, that's your half of the movie.
Yeah.
So wait, where's Huso?
I don't know where he is.
Don't know.
That he wherever he had been in his bed or whatever, he was
Gone now.
replaced by this
Yeah.
sack child.
So yeah, so Petre's like, well, I got to find Huso, and they're like, okay, there's this weird. I thought it was a dead trained corpse. 'Cause I was just like,
shit!
I don't know. This movie seemed really dark.
Yeah.
Thought it through like really,
I
really
love
dark.
this. This is your first instinct of this movie. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. Look, man, I've seen so many Scandinavian films that are always
Yeah.
dark and scary.
totally.
But yeah, it's in his bed, and then like, his dad's like, maybe he was out chasing girls or whatever. He'll come back, I'm sure.
He's a child. He's
Yeah.
like 15 years old.
15-year-olds are pretty pervy though.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Uh,
we're all a kid. We're all the girls in this village. I haven't seen I haven't seen a
There is
single
not
woman
a
in
single
this entire
woman in
movie.
here. This is not past the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
At all. Doesn't even like see the Bechdel test.
No.
It's like women aren't allowed in here. So then they're like, okay, Amo, which is fucking Russo's dad. Is that how he say his name? I forgot his name already. The other kid who's missing. Juso.
Juso.
He's like, you speak English, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, we need our translator. And we cut to Piperian, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And he's like
We
watching.
gotta fucking figure this guy's name out.
You look it up. Go for it.
No, we gotta shorten it. Let's just call him Mr. P.
Mr. P. All right.
Yeah.
So Mr. P, there's also Pietri. I guess he's not Mr.
He's not a Mister.
Okay, yeah, Mr. P.
He's a child.
Okay,
so we call
Mr.
him P.
P.
Junior.
Little P.
Little P.
Little P.
We got Little P and we got Mr. P.
We have Mr. P. Okay,
And then
so
we got
Mr.
Little P's dad.
So Mr. P's hanging out eating gingerbread,
Mhm.
and he's got like there's like a whole Santa suit next to him. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, they must have got Santa.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
What was that Santa suit the whole time there?
No, that was Mr. P's Santa suit. Mr. P's been
Oh.
walking around dressed like Santa delivering presents.
Oh right, because he was acting like that.
And so
Okay.
that suit's gonna get taken by the old man.
Sure, yeah.
Ah, this movie's coming together now.
So they, if suddenly he just pulls over a sheet, and then I see like what looks like a dead body. He's got blood all over him. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? But he's waking up a bit, and it seems he likes the gingerbread cookie. He's like sees.
oh, that's what he's sniffing.
He smells the gingerbread cookie. He's like, ooh, and he wakes up, and then it cuts because it's scary. 'Cause
Right.
He's like,
Were
jumping
you
forward.
afraid?
We're confused.
That's fair. You don't
It's
know
hard to
what's
be
going
scared.
on.
It's hard to be scared of a movie when you just jumped into it. Like,
That's
'cause
true.
There's no tension built. You're just like, what
Yeah,
is
you don't know
happening?
what's at stake.
Yeah, exactly. So they're driving. They're like, what do you have to translate? It's like, we have a visitor. So they drive up to where he's being held, and the guy, Mr. P, has like he isn't like his ear isn't gone, but it looks like there's a big bite or something like where his ear
Oh.
next to his ear,
Got it.
and it's very gross. And he's like, so what happened?
So
He's
Mr.
like,
P's dead.
no, he's not dead. He's just sitting there.
Oh, he just got a bite taken
He's
out
got
of
like
him.
a bite. He got like a chunk. He's like that guy's not a man. He's a freak. And it's like, he's just a
Yeah.
man. Like, what are you guys freaking out? He's like, he's up. He's walking around. He's scary. We can't go in there. He's not human. And the dad and go in there and they grab a gun and they point it at him. And
Mhm.
he's just kind of sitting there. like curled up, like kind of not really rocking back and forth, just kind of curled up in the middle of this like kind of meat locker type situation.
Like in a fetal position.
Not really like a fetal position. Like if you sit down in a shower.
Oh, okay, got it.
You're just kind of sitting there.
Got it.
And they keep saying something really weird about him. And it's like, well, he's a foreigner, so I don't know. Speak English to him. So then he's like, how do you like the land of the Northern Lights? They approach him.
That's their like, ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Yeah, it's basically that. So they start poking him a little bit, and he's not really reacting. They like touch him. They're like, hey man, we need some money, dude. So are they poor? Like they sound like they want money all of a sudden. Is this their thing?
No, maybe they're just like, he want to stay here.
Okay, because at one point they bring up like, we need money to pay off a debt. I don't know. Is like a debt brought up at all? At least enough to cover a debt. I guess they're just probably always in debt. So whatever.
Oh, maybe it's the thing because like they think that he's from the drill site.
Yeah.
And they think the people from the drill site cut open a hole in their fence and then killed all of the livestock. So maybe they're like, you owe us money because you're
like how much you would probably make from this. That makes sense.
That's maybe what I think they're trying to do.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So the kid's looking everywhere, looking for Huso.
Whoso is it anyway?
Huso is it anyway? And then they are like, they're looking for like digging inside the mountain. Oh, they start asking like the Santa man. They're like, hey, you digging inside the mountain? We'll keep you here until someone pays up. I'm like, what? We taking hostages now?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, we'll say that. Says the dad to the to Huso's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, all right, well, the kid then Pietri comes in.
Petrie.
And he like knocks on the door. He's like, hey, let me in. They're like, oh shit, we gotta talk to him. So his dad pops out before he gets inside to see what's going on. He's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, you need to smack me. He's like, why? He's like, I deserve to be smacked. He's like, what? He's like, I've been naughty.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I went up to the mountain with Huso and made a hole in that fence. And I'm the only one left, Dad. Everyone else has been taken, even Huso. Like, what do you mean everyone's been taken? He's like, all the kids are missing. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, all right. Oh, I got to go tend to this other thing here, kid. I'm not going to smack you.
Yeah.
So he goes in, and the kid, they're looking at him. They're trying to get him to talk still. And like Pietro walks in a little bit, and the man sees him, and his eyes glow a little bit.
Oh, because
he's a little like
naughty.
He's naughty. He's looking at him, and he's like, "Oh shit, do you know him?" And Pietro's like, "Yeah, I know him.
He's Santa Claus.
He knows everyone. He knows all the kids. He spies on us.
Oh,
he spies on us.
So there's
all the kids know him.
There's one moment I didn't mention that earlier on, Pietri went out and looked at his front window and saw footprints leading up to his second story window.
Okay.
So I think maybe that's also.
I
what
also
he's
just
saying.
like the idea that Santa is like spying on you, right?
I mean, he knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Exactly.
He's got eyes everywhere. He's got those fucking little.
He's a surveillance state.
That's right. He's a big brother.
He's Big Brother.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, what are we gonna do? And this man just starts getting up, and I'm just like, this man is butt naked. You see his dick, everything.
You see his dick?
You see his dick.
Wow. You see his stocking stuffer?
You see his stocking stuffer.
All right.
And I'm just like,
this little
kid doesn't need to see this man's penis.
No kid needs to see anybody's penis.
Who hasn't been a kid and walked into the locker room?
And there's an old man?
There's an old naked man there. There's always old naked men in the locker room.
Yeah, there are, I guess.
Like, that's a collective.
But this kid's little. I don't know if that little kid.
I was like 8 or 9 going
to the gym?
It wasn't even, it was like a pool.
Oh,
and there were like people showering after the pool, and they were butt naked.
Yeah, that's.
And
fair.
I was like,
"This is his home,
too
though."
Much.
Imagine walking into your home and seeing an old man's dick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're just like, and a stranger. It's not even like your grandpa. You
No,
know?
it's just a random old man.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's okay if you see your grandpa's dick, Mike?
If you walk in on your grandpa changing, that's one thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know? Like, yeah, it's wrong to see your grandpa's dick if your grandpa's showing it to you.
PSA for everyone out there who is 8 years old.
If you open up a door without knocking and your grandpa's got his dick out,
yeah, it's just
like that's your fault.
Yeah, that's your fault for doing that. No, this man's
you walk into the living room, there's a strange old man with a big beard and dick. That's a different problem.
They get scared of him. They're like, we gotta tie him up, and so they tie him up and they leave him like hanging. Well, I realized there's so many meat hooks, and I was like, this is very menacing. But now I realize he's a butcher.
He's a butcher, yeah.
So he's hanging up there, and they just eat gingerbread cookies
I
while
love
watching
how
him.
Keep making gingerbread cookies.
And he's just so upset. He's like, I want the gingerbread cookies. I want that kid. But then they hear, I guess he had a backpack with him or something, and there was a radio, and the radio starts making noise and
crackling.
coming over. Mr. Green, is everything okay? Is everything okay, Mr. Green? We're landing in 30 minutes.
So they think this guy's name is Mr. Green because he had Mr. Green's ID on him, but he is not Mr. Green.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe so.
Just wanted to give you that information.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they like ask and they're like pick it up and like, hey, we have Santa Claus, like come get us.
They say that straight up.
He's for sale is what they say.
Right. They want to make money.
And they're like, okay, fine, we'll meet us somewhere. So they put him in the Santa outfit. They put the little hat on him, and they got him in the back of like a cage.
How did they
basically
get the costume on him?
I don't know. He's like weirdly. Yeah, I don't know. They probably just forced it on. There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't seem to have superhuman strength. He just is like an old dude.
Right.
So far anyway.
Doesn't have superhuman strength, but he can fell a deer apparently, hundreds of deer.
That is kind of interesting.
Yeah, but whatever.
You know, everyone's got their talent. Maybe it's just not good against humans.
That's true.
So yeah, they're asking like, how much do you want to charge? Like, enough to think the debt I think we should pay. And then, the helicopter man, Piperian, Mr. P, excuse me, is like, no, ask for like $1 million.
Yeah.
It's like, so not 80K. Okay, sure. Well, we'll see what it goes. And then there's like this weird moment where they arrive at like kind of like a bridge area and a helicopter comes down to land. And while they're waiting for the helicopter to land, the 3 men are standing out there waiting for the helicopter. And he finds his wife's hairdryer on the ground. This might be a reference.
Yes, I forgot about this.
Okay.
Sorry. One thing I forgot to mention. So earlier on, they mentioned that the potato stacks had gotten missing. Radiators and other things that heat up houses, such as hair dryers, also been stolen.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I
just
forgot
from
to
everyone
this.
in town.
Everyone's been reporting missing hair dryers and
children?
Radiators. No missing children yet. I haven't heard about any missing children personally, but yeah.
So he's like,
but mostly objects and property. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the man steps out of the helicopter. I believe it's the man you're talking about with the hat, and he says, "Who are you? Where are my men?" In English,
right? Yeah.
And the guy responds, the only guy who speaks English, and he's like, "Yeah, we're men. What kind of business do you want?"
Nice.
And
welcome to the land of the Northern Lights.
That's basically that. And he's like, "We want 85K." And the other guy's like, "Oh, I want more."
Yeah.
And like, "Show me my man." Or my cargo, he says specifically.
Right.
And so they bring out Santa Claus. They put him down there on the ice off the truck. And the mysterious man, this buyer or whatever, goes up and touches him. He's a very little man. And
is this a man? Who is this man? Just a man?
He's the man you mentioned earlier.
Oh, is he a little man?
He's got the hat.
Okay.
He is technically a little man compared to them. I mean, they're all Scandinavian, so
that's
probably
true.
tall.
That's true. Okay, got it. Him, yeah.
So then Pietri gets out of the car and like sees like this door, and he says like, "Oh, I gotta go in there." And it says like 24 on it, which I realize is Christmas, the number of Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And
that's also the day the movie opens is 24.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so he drops the little doll on the ground and goes inside. And while the man with the hat is touching him, like the Santa Claus man.
Sure.
The eyes glow.
Santa Claus's eyes glow?
Santa Claus's eyes glow. He's like, "Oh shit." And the little man says, "Okay, everyone, be on your best behavior. You have to be quiet. No more swearing. Be nice, just like you mentioned earlier."
Right.
They're like, "Why?" And he's like, "This is not Santa.
It's Krampus."
No. It's one of Santa's little helpers.
What?
He's like, everyone's like, "What?" It's an elf.
What?
It's an elf, dude.
I didn't know this.
Santa's gonna find out who's naughty and nice, and then suddenly, like a helicopter pilot gets fucking taken away and killed.
What?
And you're like,
what
is
did
going
he do?
on? Well, he must have been naughty. He probably said "fuck." Or
so
something.
there's other elves about.
So then, yeah.
What? I was not expecting
you look
this.
Everywhere. I know you weren't. The whole way you're explaining it. Everywhere you look, there's just suddenly old naked men.
What?
Just randomly scattered out with pickaxes.
Holy shit! I had no idea.
There's a whole bunch of them. And he says, "They're protecting their master."
Oh,
and then he gets
shit.
a fucking pickaxe to the back of his head, the weird little guy.
Yeah.
So then they see the kid go inside and they're like, "Oh shit." And they start shooting their guns at all the old men.
Right,
and they run inside the big hangar building.
That's crazy.
And then what they see is crazy.
What do they see?
What do they see? So the thing pans back and it shows a bunch of like ovens and dryers.
Oh, they're trying to melt Santa. Oh.
And they see a bunch of kids out front, like kids in bags.
Yeah.
In bags. And then you see probably a 10, 12-story block of ice
Yes.
with 2 giant horns sticking out of it.
Oh shit!
And they're like, oh shit, they're trying to melt Santa, they're trying to protect him.
Oh my
They're
god!
trying to awaken him.
I was so wrong.
It's pretty sick though, right?
Yeah, that's
like,
a really cool twist.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because you just expect like, oh, it's just a weird Santa guy, and it's like, no, he's just one of the many.
He's one of the elves.
And it's funny because to him, he's an elf. Like he's a tall, standard man size,
right? Compared to this
compared
big
to this monster
thing.
beast thing.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
So yeah, so they actually find Huso in there, and they pick him up, and he's crying, wants to go home. And during this time, they're like, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do?" So they start unplugging all the ovens. They're barricading the door as the elves try to break in. And start freeing all the kids from the bags. But then Pietro's like, "I have an idea," and he sees that there's a bunch of explosives in here for some reason. Very convenient.
Interesting.
None of them really listen to his idea, but then he shoots a gun, and they're like, I have an idea now. And they're like, all right, fine, we'll listen.
Every government facility has to have random explosives
a
just
ton,
lying
like
around.
a ton of random explosives.
Well, no. Actually, this makes sense. They were using the explosives to bust open the mountain.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. You're
so
right.
they needed those explosives.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They were using them. They had been established.
Do we even know who these people are, though, that were trying to
no
break in?
fucking clue.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just...
Could be private equity. Could be a government.
Could
who
be
knows?
anybody, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Pietro's idea is that, like, as long as the kids are here, the elves are going to want to get into the hangar. So what we're going to do, because they're obsessed with children, their eyes glow when they see them.
Right.
So he's like, we're going to do something. We're going to blow up Santa. This is all implied, by the way. He hasn't mentioned this. I'm just telling it for the listener.
Right.
They're going to dynamite Santa, and what they're going to do is he's like, okay, we're going to put everyone in a bunch of sacks, and we're going to get that helicopter. You're going to, Mr. P, you're going to go run outside, distract the elves with cookies.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes outside, starts throwing elves cookies.
Right.
He gets in the helicopter. He flies the helicopter over, and all the kids are in kind of like a big cargo net in bags.
So they're all going to just be like...
So then
lifted away via helicopter?
Yeah, because there's a big hole in the hangar for some reason. Because it's probably how they got Santa.
It's a hangar.
Well, it's how they got Santa in there.
Yeah.
And so they put them all in there and they attach it and they start flying. They start flying off. They're like, wait, so even Huso has to go back? It's like, yes, otherwise the elves won't follow unless everyone goes. And even Pietro has to go. He like grabs onto the side of the helicopter like a badass.
Whoa.
The side of the bag, not the helicopter itself, but the bag with all the kids in it. So
Right.
it's this big sack of just
Children.
And they take it off and they start flying.
Whoa. I can't believe this is working.
I know. Well, and in the meantime, they're starting to drill holes inside of the Santa icicle.
So that they can put like dynamite in there.
Exactly. So
I feel like if they just blow up the ice, like that's just gonna free him quicker, right?
You don't understand how much explosives they have. They have so much. Like when they do finish it, literally the entire thing looks like someone has a bad case of acne and it's explosives. Like it is all over the place.
Got it. Okay.
So then this scene is ridiculous because you got Pietro flying on the side of a helicopter, like on it, and they're like just kind of sitting there waiting, and then suddenly you just see a horde of old naked men just coming. The fact that
they all look the same too.
They look no, but
okay,
they're very
so they're not
similar.
the same actor.
They're not the same actor.
Okay,
they hired a whole bunch of old naked men to just come out here.
Got it.
Dingleberry dongs out.
Yeah. Oh, Sonny, Grandpa, my grandkids, I'm in a movie.
You want to come to see?
I finally got cast in a film. You know, Grandpa's always wanted to be an actor.
Would you like to see Grandpa's Willie too? He's a shower,
no,
not a
Grandpa,
grower.
we want to stop seeing it.
I hate that Grandpa's a nudist. But now it's funny because they start showing up, but there's so many of them. They're now turned into CGI men.
Of course.
They're little CGI naked men running around. And
I love this. This is so fucking crazy.
I know. They're following the sack of kids.
Yeah.
And so like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the pen with the reindeer. He says, Mr. P, we're going to drive there. We're going to trap them there.
Oh, right. To keep the wolves out.
And it's this weird scene of
this has been established. This is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird that the kid, there's a scene of they're circling around, the bag's swinging real big, and like, this kid's gonna fall off, but he's holding on. He goes, yo-hoo! And it's just the weirdest scene of this kid. It feels like watching the alternate version of Polar Express because it's all CG at this point.
Right.
Going, yo-hoo! But it's a whole bunch of naked old men just running after him. It's so bizarre. An epic moment. Meanwhile, Santa's all covered in explosives. And they're like, this is how Santa can be in a million places at once. And you realize it's like, oh, well, maybe it wasn't Santa. It was his elf helpers that were like delivering presents or whatever, right?
Right, sure.
'Cause they all are just old men.
Right.
So they all could be Santa.
Right, and they like eating cookies.
Yeah. And it's funny because they're like, well, ready to explode him. Let's steal a horn. And they cut a horn off of him.
Might as well.
And they put it in the back of the car and they drive off. So they get to the pen, Pietro and Mr. P. Pietro like sees it and he notices the gates are closed. He's like, oh, we got to open the gate. And Mr. P's like, no, we got to figure out a different plan. He's like, no, I'll do it. He's like, you're not, how I won't be able to get you back.
Yeah.
He's like, that's fine. I won't be going back.
Oh my God.
And then
this
he
kid
just
is going to fucking give his life.
jumps off the sack.
Yeah.
And luckily lands on some lines. I guess he knew it, but it like seems so much more dramatic because like Mr. P didn't lower the helicopter off from. And he goes and he opens it up, and he's like, radios them, and he's like, "Tell my dad what I did," and then he drops the pig. I'm like, this kid's dead, right?
Yeah, he's
and you
gonna
just
die.
see the pens open, and just the horde of naked old men just run into the pen, just
It's
ready to get him.
awesome.
And he just closes his eyes, like, "Oh, I'm gonna die."
But then what happens?
Well, then his dad drives off, and they detonate the Santa.
Right.
And just the biggest explosion you've ever seen. Just the entire hangar gets
Mountain.
decimated.
Yeah.
Like just exploded so big. There's no way anything survived that. Like it's just such a massive explosion.
You're right.
And then all the elves just kind of like they're all in the pen and they just kind of stop. They're just like, oh,
Ooh, where are my
they're like,
clothes?
we don't know. They're like, oh shit. So they don't know what to do now. Yeah, they have no master. They're out of a
Yeah.
job. They've all been fired. You know.
Right.
So they kind of just stand around, and Pietro's like, okay, Mr. P, take the kids home. He's like, righto. And I'm like, aren't you going to run a ride or anything back? So he's literally there until the daytime when everyone else arrives, which could have been
Kid would freeze to death.
Kid would freeze to death.
Yeah.
I don't know. The hours are weird when you're that far north. Like,
So apparently
night
it's
could
not
only be
supposed
like-
to be daytime at all over there.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's supposed to always be nighttime.
Yeah, it's supposed to be night, especially at that time. So
Yeah.
just a little bit of light
Oh,
shows
cinema
up.
sin.
There's got to be, it's maybe the 1 hour daytime they get a year. A
1
day or
hour
whatever.
of daytime. This entire like during the day part of the movie took place in 1 hour.
Maybe.
Sure.
I mean,
why
well,
not?
now it's just turned it. It just turned it.
Uh-huh.
So this whole time it's been dark. Now they suddenly, it's daytime.
Right.
And they show up and they're like, well, what do we do? He's like, there's 180 elves there. 180 potential Santas. And they're like, why do you think we could sell them for? He's like, $16 million each.
Whoa.
He's like, I don't know if we can do that. Let's just do 85,000 or whatever.
Right.
He's like, all right, well, we'll see. So then it cuts to 312 days until Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, the son and the dad's like, you're a good kid. He's like,
Oh,
"Yeah, I'm a
finally.
good kid.
Finally.
Thank you. And then we go to 312 days till Christmas. We see a shower drain and all these men basically in like almost prison style shower being washed off
Yeah.
with like a hose and getting cleaned up. And then 760 or sorry,
Is all this set to music?
a little bit, but it's not like a song or anything.
I'm imagining it being like jingle bell, jingle
It's
bell,
similar to
jingle
that,
bell
yeah.
rock.
76 days until Christmas, and now they're all sitting there and they're inspecting them as these old men are in clothes and are being taught how to have a kid on their lap and how to have a present. And one of them starts opening the present like, no, bad Santa, you don't get to have it. And they're being trained how to be a Santa.
Right,
one of them
right.
does good enough job, they give him a little red hat, and he's like,
Aw.
oh, cool. And he's all happy.
This is fucking insane.
Yep.
This is not where that
And
movie is
then
going.
24 days from Christmas, they put them in boxes.
And ship them off.
And they say it puts rare exports on the box.
That's the name of the movie.
And they send them to places like Zanzibar and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
they put them in a big cargo plane that Mr. P's flying.
Right, because he can fly stuff.
And then it just says on the label like rare exports from the land of the original Santa Claus. And then that's the end of the movie.
What a film.
What a weird ass film.
That is an insane way to end the
Yeah,
movie.
it is.
I kind of like it though. This was to make a lot weirder and more fun than I was like anticipating. Yeah.
It was a fun time. It was like weird, had a nice little twist to it.
Yeah.
Wasn't super cynical.
No. It's very heartfelt in a weird way. Yeah.
Heartfelt, but also goofy.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's funny because it's like these are people who are scraping by every day in their life, and it's like now you get an opportunity to sell Santas, these weird elf men that are just there.
Yeah.
Like,
What else are you gonna do with them?
I mean, they basically invented slavery, but like, are they people?
They're
I
elves.
don't know. They're elves.
They were slaves before, man. They
I
were
guess you're
slaves
right.
under Santa.
Oh, okay. So you're saying we shouldn't free them?
I mean, I don't think they want to be freed.
I think they're lost.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they can speak.
Yeah, I don't think they say a single word.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think they're able to like communicate.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're just like weird. I mean, you're right. If you think down to the
If
machinations,
you think about it too much, it's a little weird.
yeah,
But
yeah.
also, it's like these are weird little creepy guys who like run on gingerbread
Yeah.
and like have glints in their eyes when children are around.
I just want like an extra 10 minutes of like the boxes getting open. They're like naked again, and they start like
they
chewing
reverted
on
back.
people
What's
and
the
stuff.
return policy?
Yeah. This guy's not ready yet.
No, not at all. We
Yeah.
got to send them back to rehabilitation.
But yeah, I don't know. It's this is not what I was expecting at all. But I kind of
No.
enjoyed what this movie was going for.
Yeah, I think this is one of the better Christmas movies we've seen.
100%.
But it wasn't the most Christmas movie. It was definitely
What are you talking about? This movie had fucking Santa in it. It had like elves.
Gingerbread.
It took place around Christmas.
tons of snow everywhere.
Yeah. If,
All right,
if
fair
Die
enough.
Hard is a Christmas movie, this is a Christmas
Oh yeah,
movie.
you're right. Okay, fair enough. This is a super Christmas movie.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
That's the case. Yeah.
But yeah, not at all what you usually see from Christmas movies. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I even like, because like that's the whole thing of like, well, if Santa is real, then why are parents giving, the gifts away? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, most movies never explain that. And it's like, in this movie, it's like, well, yeah, Santa was real, but then he got fucking trapped in a mountain in Russia.
Yeah. But he was also like a weird beast. It's kind of sad we never get to see the full design of what
I
he
know,
looks
but that
like.
would have been expensive.
It would have been expensive, and honestly, the mystery is kind of better. Of just
Yeah.
being like, I don't know. I imagine like a big, creepy, woolly mammoth looking thing or something.
I mean, and this movie was made in 2010.
Yeah.
So, maybe Rare Exports 2. Pietre comes back. He's the dad of his own.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is apparently, so we were mentioning earlier, this is apparently like a sequel to a movie that came out in 2005, and there's like
short.
and then
Yeah.
there's also another short in
Yeah.
2003,
Yeah.
which we never heard of. Doesn't seem like we really missed anything not seeing
Also
those.
doesn't seem as if they're like Christmas.
They're
Maybe they
not
are
Christmas themed, I don't
yeah, I don't
think.
know. But yeah, I'm glad I finally saw this. I've been seeing this poster for forever, as I've explained previously. I had a whole idea in my head of what this movie was gonna be. Was not that at all, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I got to see.
It was a fun little time. I do actually, even if we explained all the stuff, I think it's a fun watch. Also, like I said, extremely short. If you're
very,
just like,
very short.
we just need to pack in something not super long, just throw it
Yeah.
up there. It's not even really that gory. Like there's
No.
like a little blood when he falls in the trap, I guess, but
Yeah.
he gets his ear bitten or whatever. But it's not that bad.
No, I think the only like rough part is you definitely see like, if obviously if you're like a vegetarian or you don't like seeing like animals being killed, there is a scene where you just see like a pig getting like butchered.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty gross, definitely.
That's
but
fair.
this is fucking Scandinavia. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they
you
don't
know?
care.
They're like pigs. They're barely human or barely animals.
Yeah,
Like, they
we're
don't
all
care.
we're all animals out
Yeah,
here.
we're all just meat. But yeah, I recommend it. It's a fun film if you're into that sort of thing. Are we giving this any kind of rating?
Yeah, let's give him some candy canes.
Candy
'Cause
canes.
There's a guy with a cane in the movie.
That's
so
right.
That makes sense.
So out of 5, is that what we're doing it at?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give this like 4.
I was gonna say 4.
Yeah, 4 candy
4.
canes. A
Like,
solid film.
It's very solid, very good. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I can't really knock it because it sets out for what it's trying to do and kind of nails it.
Yeah.
But it's not anything like, oh man, this is like mind blowing, changes your mind.
It sets out what it's trying to do, but also if it told me what it was going to do originally, I wouldn't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, so you're going to start out as like this very emotional film about a father and a son and a weird secret base, and then it's going to turn into a bunch of naked elves chasing a bag of children. And you're just like, all right, I guess that's what the movie's going to be.
Oh man, that's a great way to explain this.
Yeah.
The Sack of Kids is very funny because it's like they're delivering presents of children.
Yeah.
It's a funny idea. Yeah. And it's a good movie. It's good times.
I like it. Yeah, check it out, guys. And if you want to listen to our previous Christmas episodes, or if you want to wait with anticipation for our future Christmas and holiday episodes, you can find them on any podcatching app. And while you're there, please leave a 5-star rating and review. We will read it in the show, no matter what it says, even if it is about Krampus and the elves and all of that stuff. And if you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at email@theotherhalfpodcast.com. We're also online at theotherhalfpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook. We're on on Threads. I'm sure we're going to be on Blue Sky at some
We
point.
already are, baby.
Yep.
I already got that URL.
There we
We're
go.
good to go.
We're on Blue Sky, and then check us out on Discord as well, where we will be keep you up to date on our coming and going. But yeah, that is pretty much it. And stay Christmassy and holiday out there, because we got some more holiday movies coming up for you.
I'm gonna be honest. Don't think they're gonna be as good as this one.
We'll see.
But we'll see.
Good night, everybody.
Ho ho ho.